Welcome to our Facebook Live demo. Today we'll be talking about how to validate configuration changes. This is a kind of demo that specifically could be useful. Hopefully, you'll find useful for network engineers that are not only designing but also implementing new network designs. So hopefully your day-to-day activity is not all about troubleshooting networks. So let's move on the next slide. And when you basically build a network, the planning phase is very important because it includes like the design, of course, of your network. And then eventually you have to translate that design into an actual existing living creature that could be in a network infrastructure. So configuration changes are those set of activities that enable you to exactly implement a new design, that is install routers, install switches, plug fiber, and of course apply changes on the network so that that hardware can basically talk together and service user traffic. So in the planning phase, it's very important to understand on what devices or network elements you'll be working on and what are the exact changes or configuration changes or commands that you're gonna paste or apply to those devices. Then there is the execution phase, which is generally like happens when you schedule the configuration change. Generally is at night, say at 2 a.m. So you won't impact your end users. And then third, after you apply your configuration changes, you wanna validate those changes, make sure that that configuration is successful and that the network works, and next day users will be able to connect to the network and use the applications, right? Now, validation is very important, especially if your network is very large. That is, you have many remote sites that could be potentially impacted by your change. And with NetBees, it's something that you can easily do that because if you recall, NetBees is a kind of relies on remote sensors that you install in remote offices, and then those sensors can continuously run tests and measurement on your network to make sure users have connectivity and the performance is good. So I want to show you how you can do that in NetBees very simply, how to validate configuration changes. We have different ways to do that. The typical one is configuring a full mesh of ping and trace route tests between your agents. This is very useful, for example, if you're applying routing policy, changes on your routing policies, new firewall rules, or anything that could really prevent user from remote site to connect to maybe other sites and or to the internet or your data center. So the full mesh will really do that. It will configure a ping across multiple agents so they can verify reachability, packet loss, and latency. Internet speed test or iPerf is another option to verify bandwidth after maybe you have increased or upgraded your links, and also to verify that remote sites have connectivity to the internet and a good or the expected download and upload speed. So that's another option. Then there are generic ad hoc tests that you can use on the fly without configuring necessarily a monitoring target on NetBees that allow you to quickly do a test against an IP or fully qualified domain name, say ping, DNS, HTTP, or traceroute. And lastly, also Wi-Fi, because we support also Wi-Fi agents or sensors. You can also verify with the Wi-Fi agent that the SSID association is successful. And generally, also Wi-Fi is something very difficult to verify and validate after a change, because generally you have to go on site, connect with your client, right, and make sure that you can connect to the network. But if you have a remote sensor out there, that's something that you can easily do remotely from your desk. Okay, so let's see. I want to show you in this short Facebook Live demo. Quickly, like the example of a full mesh of ping test that I configured. As you can see here, here I created a full mesh of ping test. Let me open this, and you can see that this is like agents included in this test are pinging each other. So for example, I have a Gigi agent here that is pinged by other agents within the same network to make sure there is reachability, right? And as you can see, the Gigi is very stable. And then Pittsburgh 2, I'm sorry, no, this is the fast Ethernet against the Gigi is very stable. The Wi-Fi is having clearly some performance. No, this is a Pittsburgh 2. The Wi-Fi actually is very stable as well. This Wi-Fi 2 is not very stable. So this is something that then should be taken as a follow-up by the engineer to understand why those specific 2 units have performance issues, right? In this case, it's like packet loss, and this other case is like sporadic connectivity issues. But the bottom line is that with such a target, you'll be able to verify that your configuration change was or was not successful. And if it was not successful, you can either revert back your change or maybe investigate on the fly if your change window is still open before reverting back your changes. There is much more that we can show you how to do configuration changes validation in NetBeans. For sake of time, I won't show you also the other use cases, but if you're interested in, feel free to go to netbeans.net and request a demo with one representative from our team to learn more how this can be done. With that, I wanted to thank you for your time and wish a happy Friday to all of you.